Welcome to the Raider Talks game recap. I am your host Art Navarrete here alongside Nick Ibarra. Before we get started, hit that subscribe button down below for Raider content all this dreadful Raiders season long. Raiders fall short 14-26 to the Lions. Just a terrible effort on the offensive side of the ball for the Raiders.
Yes.
Defensively, some flashes, some good moments, but didn't make the adjustment of stopping the run, which was not good. Special teams got beat as well, all three phases of the game. Got out-coached, got out-classed, got out-hustled, and this was an embarrassing one. And I think this one should put the stamp on the end of Josh McDaniels' career as a head coach for the Raiders, but we'll see how it goes moving forward.
Yeah, man, that's horrible, and to play like that on primetime too, it's horrible. Offense only puts up 7. Defensively, just too much. The run, just too much for them. Gave up too many yards on the run. Their time of possession, at one point, they were dominating us like crazy. It was 400 yards to one something. The time was up there. The plays, it almost doubled. It was just horrible, and I wanted to come on here saying, well, no matter what, you still only gave up, 26, and, the offense wasn't out there too long, but it's just that run. You knew they were running it, and you still couldn't stop it.
I'm not too mad at the defense. I'm frustrated in Patrick Graham not being able to make that adjustment, or the players not being able to make that adjustment as well to stopping the run. That's the thing that's been our Achilles heel, and we could not stop it.
Yeah.
Even when we knew they were running the ball, we couldn't stop it. But really, 80% of it, 70 to 80% of it fall on the offense. Josh McDaniels' offense, who turned the ball over and gave Lions good possession, good position to score. 3 and outs, 4 and outs, just like that, and keeping the defense on the field. It wasn't just the defense messing themselves up, but time possession was won because of 3 and outs by the Raider offense and turnovers. And it was just an ugly football game, embarrassing football game. And honestly, I guess Josh McDaniels is going to die with his boots on because Aiden should win that game.
We texted about it. We need some big plays here. It was like 5 minutes still left. I mean, it was the same score. We were down 12. Hey, we need some big plays here, and how we were doing it, and what, the dinks and stuff still with like 7 minutes. Like, what are you doing? Come on, let's go for the big play. And then, you tried twice with Devontae, and you overthrow him, or you underthrow him on the first quarter. You overthrow him in the fourth. It just, nothing went our way. Yeah. And on the first interception by Jimmy Garoppolo, where he underthrew Devontae Adams, that's one of those where you can throw it and you can maybe even go out of bounds and you're fine. Like, overthrow him. Just don't underthrow him because that's a pick. Yeah. And the last one, you could have underthrew him by a lot. No one was even around him. Like, that's the one you don't overthrow. Jimmy just making the bad decision. He gets rattled way too easily. He makes our offensive line look absolutely horrific. Yeah. When in reality, they're not good. They're not great. But he's making them look even worse because he gets so rattled so quickly. Yeah. He doesn't have the ability to step up in the pocket. He doesn't have the ability to move around. He's just a statue out there. And that's like all of our 3 quarterbacks. Yeah. All statues. In a league where you need a guy that has the ability to be an athlete at the quarterback position, and we don't have it. And these are the quarterbacks that Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels brought in. And it's looking ugly. They should get fired, both of them. Yeah, I mean, collectively. We were still in the game. I think this was the first or second quarter. It was 3rd and long. And you had Jacobs for I think 3rd and 6 maybe. You had Jacobs for the easy first down. But what are you looking at that you don't see Jacobs for the easy first down? And I think that was a Hunter Renfrow tangle up, and then they were trying to call for the flag or whatever. But it's like, you don't see Jacobs right in front of you. Like, you live by the dink and dunk as a quarterback, but you don't see him right in front of you. And then just, and then in the fourth quarter, as soon as he hike it, you see his feet, just happy feet. Like, okay, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? We didn't need to be in the 3rd and longs, 4th and longs. Try to get it out. You see him coming right at you, and you still think you can move or whatever. You can't. You didn't do it all game, and I don't know what he was thinking in that fourth quarter.
There's a lot of things wrong with Jimmy. Yes. He gets balls batted down way too much. Happy feet, throws. I mean, he makes throws that you're like, okay, he must be wide open the way it looks on the camera or the way it looks on TV, and no one's open. So a lot of bad coming from that side. Yeah. Max Crosby obviously played his butt off. Devontae had a Yeah, it was a bad throw collectively on that one for a first down. That would have been huge for us. We were back down to our end zone, but first down we could have got. Jimmy underthrew Devontae. And
the first one, and then overthrew.
Devontae dropped it, so collectively they both messed up there.
Yeah.
But then Devontae got open a couple more times later in that football game, missed him, and those were some ugly misses. Devontae looked really, really pissed off.
And it's frustrating because, out of, I don't know how many targets he had today, maybe 6 or 7. He had one catch, whatever, but he beat his man a couple times. And with a better quarterback or a more accurate quarterback that can throw deep, he could have had a touchdown in the first quarter, a big play in the fourth, 2 big plays in the fourth. It sucks. And I think now you see it, and it's, we say, we get the ball to him. Well, I mean, he beat his man. He did everything right, and you still can get the ball to him.
The only thing that could pump me up for next week's game is if Josh McDaniels gets fired. We put an interim in there. All the guys rally behind the interim, and we go out and play the New York teams and hopefully beat them and get back to 500. But the odds of that happening are very, very low. And it's, I think this is the game that ends the Raiders season.
Oh, yeah. And I think we're unofficially at the halfway point. We're 8 games in. This is who we are, Art. And I try to brush it off. And no, we're not. We're still close to 500. We got the New York teams coming. We got this. We got that. This is who we are. We can't score 2 touchdowns. We can't put up 20 points. We need defense to score. So then our score looks good. Reality is our offense only scored 7. Looked crappy, and and then defense was a reflection of that, just because of how much they were out there. They shouldn't have been out there for that 38-40 minute mark. I don't know what the exact time is, but it just, everything was bad today.
Yeah, but this football team is just bad.
No,
this team's not even fun to watch.
No,
they're not fun to watch. It's like miserable to watch these games because there's nothing fun happening on the offensive side of the ball. It's nothing explosive. Usually when your offense comes out, you get pumped up. Like, what's the offense going to do right here? Now, the offense comes on the field, you're like, damn, we got to watch the offense.
Yeah.
And when the defense comes on the field, you're more, excited because, we can win the game on defense. We can get a pick 6 like Marcus Peters did in this game, or a fumble like Crosby did in this game. You're looking forward to what the defense can do. If the defense can score some points for us. But this isn't an elite defense like that that can do that.
Yeah.
But
you're absolutely right.
It's not fun to watch this Raiders football team. And there's been years where, the Raiders aren't good, but at least they're fun to watch. This is one of those years where they suck and they're not fun to watch. So it's hard to watch these games. Really, really hard.
You're absolutely right. And now that defense is a tiny bit better, you're right. They're still not elite. They're still really not that good. But you're hoping and praying for, man, let's get a turnover here on their side. So then if we go 3 and out, it's an easy 3. Or we put up points because of defense. Or, we got excited for the Peters pick 6. Like, okay, finally we're putting up some points. Let's try to kick a field goal and take the lead out of this, but... you're right. This offense isn't fun to watch. This team isn't fun to watch, and we're not scoring, and that's the reason why.
Yeah, it's bad. And the Raiders are usually, in the past years, they have been explosive for the most part, but are not explosive at all right now. And that's the Raiders MO a little bit, being explosive, throwing the ball deep, using your fast guys, using your tight ends. And this is a team that does not do that. This is a coach that does not do that. And I don't know, every time we gave the ball to a tight end, Austin Hooper, Michael Mayer, something good happens, but we don't give him the ball.
Yeah.
Devontae, we don't give him the ball enough.
Exactly.
So it's bad. It's really bad what's happening. And it's bad because we have the talent. We truly do have the talent, offensive and defensively, but our coaches can't put it together.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. We have the talent. And, in some of these matchups we play against the Bears, I even think personally deep down against the Lions, some of these teams on paper, we should be better than them. Our skill position players and everything, we should be better than them. We got all pros. We got pro bowlers. We've got some really great guys, but we're not playing well. And it all goes on Josh McDaniels. This is it. This has been it for now a year and a half. And you took over a playoff caliber roster a 10-7 team, and you made them worse. And even this year, even though we have a better record this time than last year, we're even worse than last year at this point.
Yeah. And a player I want to note that is not playing good to me is Josh Jacobs. He had that one good drive to me, but I felt like today he had a lot of open holes where last year he gains 15, 20 yards or 12 yards on some of these holes, or even gets a touchdown. There's one deep in our we were in back down in our end zone, and it was a similar hole to the game in Seattle where he broke one for 99 yards touchdown or 100 yards touchdown. Jacobs does not look good. He is not in shape. And he's a guy that maybe that's a good decision, just giving him a 1-year deal. But as you can see on the flip side, Jamar Gibbs for the Detroit Lions, you can see how he can beat people to the edge. He's fast.
Yeah.
They can do more things with him at the running back position. And you got to look at Josh McDaniels a little bit there, that Jacobs is not getting the job done. Even when he has holes, he's not doing good enough.
His decision making.
You got to maybe put one of the other running backs in.
Maybe,
right?
I mean, if it's not
Zamir
working,
White's faster.
Yeah, I mean, I think the running game is all sorts of things. I think it's McDaniels. I think it's Garoppolo. I think it's the line. But I think now you're starting to see it's Jacobs a little bit, you know. And I saw it today. His decision making. There's a hole here, but you want to go hit somebody here, or you know, there's room here. There's a first down here. But you want to go get tackled and just try to get 1 or 2 yards here. I saw it, you know, and it sucks because last year he was looking for the holes and getting the first downs and getting big plays and everything. And now it's just averaging 2 or 3, and that's what we're expected to see every time.
And you could blame McDaniels and the line and Jimmy for that, like you said. But mainly, I thought it was on Josh Jacobs today, because I saw a bunch of big holes for him today. And I think the offensive line honestly didn't play that bad today. I thought they played pretty solid. I mean, there was a couple plays where Jimmy got bum rushed pretty fast, but I thought Jimmy's decision making was not good.
Decision making, yeah.
So I thought the offensive line didn't play too bad. I just think our running backs aren't good. Obviously, I'm gonna say our running backs as a whole group, because they did not play good, and I don't think our quarterback's good. You know, our skill players are good. Our offensive line, I think, is playing decent, good enough to where if we have a better quarterback, we do something.
Yeah.
But it's just all around bad. We have a Pro Bowl running back that's not playing good. Devontae drops the ball today. But it all rides on the coach, Josh McDaniels. You look over to the Lions side. I mean, I didn't like that Dan Campbell was crying all over TV the whole time. Like, I wouldn't want him as our. I mean,
I would. He's 6-2.
He is 6-2. But he just seemed kind of he seems kind of weird. But they rally for that guy.
They play for their coach.
They play for their coach. And that's something that the Raiders did for Rich Bisaccia.
And I think when you're doing things right and making the right decisions and turning around a franchise like he did, everyone's going to love and want to play for you. And that's what you get. Now this is their breakout year. They're 6-2. I know this ain't the Lions show, but they're playing really well for him, with him.
To be honest with you, watching this game, I didn't think the Lions were that good. Like, I didn't think the Lions were good. The Raiders shot themselves in the foot time after time after time after time, and it was still kind of a close game in the fourth. So I don't even think the Lions are that good. You saw when they played a good team last week. They get their butts beat.
Yeah.
So this loss even looks worse, because I didn't even think the Lions looked as good as they were on paper and how they look with their record. And I just think that made the loss even worse. You know what I mean?
And they let us back in the game a whole bunch of times.
Yeah.
They didn't go away. They didn't run away with this. You know, we got the pick 6. We had our chances. You know, we get some turnovers. I think we won the turnover battle today, right? We won the turnover battle today and didn't take advantage of anything.
Yeah, I know what I mean? I know I said Dan Campbell's weird and all, but they play for him. He looks like he makes the decently right decisions most of the time, and Josh McDaniels makes bad decisions most of the time. And it doesn't look like they're rallying for him. It don't look like they're playing for him like they did with Rich Bisaccia. But, you know, like, that year when we had Rich Bisaccia, it seemed like, you know how Max Crosby has a high motor? It seemed like everybody had a high motor on that team at that time. Everyone had a sense of urgency, a high motor. And it doesn't look like Josh McDaniels has a sense of urgency, even though he might. I mean, he's on the hot seat. It don't look like he has a sense of urgency, meaning the whole team doesn't have a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Right? So this Raiders team is not well coached, and when they should have a sense of urgency, they don't have it.
Exactly.
They don't have it.
And I wonder if that's his mentality for this season or for his tenure as a Raider. Like, it's going to get there. I don't know if it's gonna get there year 3, year 4, but it's gonna get there.
It's not a process.
This isn't a process.
It's not a process like
this
that.
This isn't a process when you take over a playoff roster, and Pro Bowlers and everything. You know, this isn't anything. You know, this isn't the process. You're worse. You got worse from last year, and that last year you even got worse from that playoff roster.
And you're getting worse game by game now.
And you're getting worse game by game,
quarter by quarter, snap by snap.
We only put up 7. You know, and I know, you know, Jimmy G wasn't playing last week, but there's no difference. There's no difference in any of our 3 quarterbacks. And after 8 weeks, that's what I've learned. There's no difference. There's no, well, we'll get Jimmy back next week, or, you know, put in O'Connell, or, you know, Hoyer's, you know, the 15-year vet. And there's no difference, Art. There's no difference. We get 3 of the same quarterbacks that struggled in these past 8 weeks, you know, and this offense sucks.
Yeah, there's no difference whether for McDaniels, whether it's DC, Stidham lost twice, had a bad game in one of them, had a great game in one of them, even though I would rather have Stidham right now. Just throwing that out there. Aiden O'Connell, Jimmy Garoppolo, or Brian Hoyer. All 5 of his quarterbacks that he has had, and 3 of them that he decided to bring to Las Vegas, they have all played bad under him.
Yeah.
Are the quarterbacks that bad? Is he that bad of a coach?
Does he need one specific type of quarterback?
But I don't know. Because the Lions are doing good with Jared Goff. Everyone wrote him out. Everyone said he was done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think it has to be all on these quarterbacks. Even though I do think their statues a little bit. And they don't fit the mold of a quarterback in today's game. But if those are the quarterbacks you decide to go with, because he came because he liked Derek Carr.
Yeah,
in the beginning.
He tried to trade for him.
Yeah,
with pitch. Yeah,
and he had Stidham, right? And then he brought these 3 guys in that he liked good enough and he trusted, and they just don't fit the mold of a new QB. But he trusted them, and he likes those guys. He brought them in, him and Ziegler, but they're all not getting it done. And it has to do with Josh McDaniels, the coaching and the scouting department for the Raiders and picking those guys up. Well, I mean scouting department. I mean Ziegler and McDaniels. So Raiders lose, ugly loss. Feels like the season's over.
Yeah. I mean, you know, just after 8 weeks, the season's halfway here. This is who we are. We're 3-5. You know, we're still. I mean, it's crazy because we're 2 wins away from just being 500, and the way we're playing, we're making it seem like we're 0-8. You know.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is we've been getting worse ever since the Denver game.
How do we ever win 3 games?
We've been getting worse ever since the Denver game, you know. And if it wasn't for defense, if it wasn't for 2 defensive plays, we don't know what our record would be right now, you know. And it sucks because at this 8 weeks, everyone says, "Oh, well, you know, you get ready to play your best football right around now, right around Halloween time, Thanksgiving time. This is where it should be played.
This is where we start tripping."
And
normally, even when we're whether we're good or bad, that's where we start tripping.
And instead of putting games together, I know we have 3 wins. We've put in together quarters, halves, and that's it.
I mean, even those 3 wins were ugly wins.
Yeah,
like it wasn't like
we couldn't do anything.
They were ugly wins, so it wasn't even like we were happy during those games. There's not been one game where we sat there, had fun, and been happy this season. Not at all.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, just the Denver game, how it was, just week 1, everyone's getting their legs together, and how we won it the last 5 minutes of just, hey, we're playing bully ball. This is our ball. We're not giving you back the ball. That was it. If there's a high point for this season, that was it right there. Yeah. I wish I would have known that week 1 instead of making myself look like a fool on here saying, hey, we're going to win this week. Or this is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to beat Buffalo.
Yeah.
We're halfway here. We're halfway through the season. We're not going to get anywhere with this offense.
No.
You know, and I'm not going to, it's going to click. No, because it's been 8 weeks. There's no clicking. You're going to have maybe a good game, you know, or maybe a lucky game where, hey, you know, we went for 300-something yards. We put up 3 touchdowns. We've done this. But this is who we are. We put up 7s and 13s and in a full game. And not in halves, not in quarters. You know, good teams put up this much in 2 drives.
Yeah.
Or, you know, put up our average in, you know, 2 or 3 drives in a quarter. Hey, that's...
There's so much room for error in our offense because we don't take shots. We don't try to gain chunks. There's so much room for error when you're running every possession you're in a 3rd down situation.
Yeah.
And it takes you 20 5 plays to go downfield. That's the reason why this team's so bad. There's so much room for error, especially not being able to gain chunks.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons too. A lot of other reasons, but I think this is it for Mark Davis right here. It should be. He needs to make the decision now. I mean, you can give him the pass. I mean, people aren't giving him the pass, but I can give him the pass. I can see it. I can see him trying to stick with him. You're paying him a lot of money. This was a game where they could have gone 500, back to 500. But Mark Davis has had to have seen enough. In my opinion, the Raider fans have seen enough. He's had to have seen enough, and now he just looks even more stupid.
And you know what?
If he doesn't, not more stupid. He will look stupid if he doesn't fire him now.
And you're tied into Jimmy G for next year. So the same guy who's running your offense this year is the same guy who's going to be running your offense next year. And if he doesn't run your offense, then it's 28 to 30 million that you're going to pay him either to be on the team or not be on the team. This is enough. You know, I'm tired of him. You know, they zoomed in to him in the fourth quarter. I'm just like, what are you showing him for? And I was mad. I was getting ready to throw something on my TV. But yeah, halfway point, this is who we are. It just sucks.
We'll see you guys for a midweek episode. Hopefully the midweek episode's tomorrow, Nick.
You know,
hopefully it's tomorrow.
Do you think something happens tomorrow? Tomorrow's the trade deadline.
Well, I hope something happens when we get off the plane tonight. I hope the man in the white suit fires the man. Doesn't even let him in the building.
Yeah, that would be crazy if tomorrow we're here talking about McDaniels.
I would love that.
But I think tomorrow by noonish
trade deadline, time, obviously Renfro.
But they played him a lot today too.
They did, but obviously Renfro probably trying to get his trade value up, playing him a lot.
I don't think Devontae Jacobs would be one that.
I think Devontae's fine. Devontae's staying. If anyone's saying Max Crosby, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
I think Tay's fine, like I said. Jacobs is one of those.
Jacobs is one of those. You know he's not gonna sign back, and I know he's not playing well, or you gave him the franchise tag, whatever. Let's just get maybe something out of him. The season isn't going. He isn't going his way. Let him try to go, rekindle the season or whatever. But he's not going to be a Raider next year. And I would just get rid of him tomorrow.
Yeah, Jacobs and Renfro, some of the last Oakland Raiders on this team, probably going to be gone.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Jacobs is less likely, but Renfro, I think for sure. He's going to be gone for sure.
Maybe. We'll see.
But we'll see. We'll never know what happens. And if we keep Renfro, which I wouldn't mind keeping Renfro, then whoever the interim coach is, hopefully if Josh McDaniels gets fired, then we'll utilize him. We'll see you guys next time, and go Raiders.
Go Raiders.